In the heart of Anambra, where history flows like the river Niger, 5 villages rose from blood, memory, and honor. This is the untold story of a kingdom forged by brotherhood, broken by betrayal, and reborn through sacred tradition. From the ashes of the Umuru War came a covenant, a bond of survival, and with it, a tradition unlike any other, where age is not a number, but a crown. Join us on a journey through time, culture, and identity as we uncover the rise of the 5 villages of Obosi and the sacred festival that binds generations together. Dubé's emotionally rich and deeply captivating version of Rise of the 5 Villages of Obosi, told with vivid details, layered drama, and ancestral depth that brings the origins of Obosi to life like an African epic. Rise of the 5 Villages of Obosi, the tale of broken brotherhood, sacred blood, and the birth of a kingdom. Not all kings wear crowns. Some carry wounds, and from the ashes of betrayal, true legacies are born. Smoke over Obosi. The fire was still burning, not just in the barns or the huts, but in the hearts of the people. The once united land of Obosi, formed by the great hunter Adike, sustained by his 9 great-grandchildren, had fractured. Brothers had lifted blades against brothers. Sons of the same blood had buried each other in cursed soil. The cause? A simple yam, a royal decree, and a man named Umuru who refused to kneel. When Umuru killed the king to protest the unjust yam law, he did not just slay a man. He broke the spine of Obosi's spiritual order. His act tore open a wound that would take generations to heal. But where there is pain, there is power. And from that chaos, rose 5. Echoes of the fallen. The battlefield was silent now. Only the cries of widows and the chants of mourning women filled the air. Akparlar, the noble firstborn. Izina, the voice of wisdom. Akpor, the fire-hearted warrior. And Umuru, the rebel whose spark ignited the flame. For of the 9 great-grandsons of Adike were dead. Their bodies, wrapped in sacred cloth, were returned to the earth beneath Irako trees, an honor, even in shame. But the land had to go on, and the people looked to the 5 who remained. Otter, whose silence spoke louder than war horns. Iri, calm as the river but deep with grief. Mmakwum, the strategist who saw 10 steps ahead. Uruowulu, whose spear was still stained, but whose heart was heavy. Ugamuma, the youngest, wildest, and perhaps the future. Together, they were all that was left. The gathering under Irako. Beneath the ancient Irako tree, where Adike once tied his hunting gear and spoke to the spirits, they gathered. The elders came. The priestesses chanted. The drums beat not in celebration, but in summoning. An oracle stepped forward, her face veiled in ash and chalk. The land has cracked. Blood has spilled, but the root still lives. Divide not to destroy, but to grow again. The message was clear. Obosi must not die. So the decision was made to divide the kingdom. Not in anger, but in legacy. 5 sons, 5 sacred lands, 5 destinies. Birth of the villages. Number 1. Umuoda, land of the spirit flame. Given to Ortar, the eldest. His village sat on a ridge overlooking the sacred groves. Here, the priests built shrines of red and white. Here, the ancestors whispered in the wind, and every child was taught to speak to the spirits. The people of Umuoda became custodians of the Obosi soul, record keepers, peace seekers, and preservers of tradition. Number 2. Iri, Isioma, the river's gift. To Iri, the thoughtful one. His land touched the great river's edge. Rich in healing herbs, sacred fish, and clean water, Ito-Ogbo became a haven of peace and health. Healers, midwives, and rain callers lived here. They were Obosi's heart, calming storms both spiritual and physical. Number 3. Mmakwum, the Watcher's Nest. Mmakwum, the planner, chose the highlands. His village was carved from stone and surrounded by watchtowers. The people here became the defenders of Obosi, always first to see danger, always last to sleep. They trained their sons and daughters in the art of war, the art of silence, and the sacred balance of both. Number 4. Uruowulu, Hands of the Earth. To Uruowulu, who knew the soil like skin, his land was rich in red clay. The people built homes that breathed. They molded pots that told stories. The markets were full of color, crafts, music, and trade. Uruowulu became Obosi's voice, bold and expressive. They were makers, shapers, and dreamers. Number 5. Ugamuma, the Wild Flame. The youngest, Ugamuma, took the forest edge. Game was plenty, the trees tall, and the night full of mystery. His people were hunters, pathfinders, and boundary breakers. They became Obosi's spirit of adventure, the ones who explored, expanded, and never feared the unknown. The banishment of Umuru's line. But one village would never rise. Umuru's lineage, though innocent in flesh, was condemned in spirit. The elders ruled that no descendant of a kingslayer could walk on sacred soil. They were exiled, forced to wander. Their huts were burned. Their names were erased from scrolls. Some say they wept. Others say they cursed the wind. Their lands, once lush with yam, palm, and bushmeat, were taken as spoils of shame. The very soil soaked in blood became Bada Idemili and Littlewood Estate, scattered echoes of a name no longer spoken aloud. The Covenant of Five. To avoid another civil war, the 5 surviving houses bound themselves with a sacred covenant. Each village would have a voice in the council, an equal share of communal land, autonomy in culture and leadership, a right to challenge injustice, and a duty to protect one another in times of war. They met annually at the Irako tree. Offerings were made. Songs were sung. The ghosts of the past were honored, not forgotten, but forgiven. From that covenant came festivals, masquerades, spiritual rites, and political systems that still guide Obosi today. Legacy of the Five. Centuries later, the 5 villages of Obosi stand strong, not just as geographical locations, but as pillars of a people's identity. When you hear the flute in the distance, it is Umuoda calling the spirits. When drums echo near the river, it is Erie soothing the soul. When the war cry sounds from the hills, it is Mmakwum standing guard. When the marketplace explodes with color, Uruowulu speaks. And when a new road is carved through untouched bush, Ugamuma has returned. Obosi is not just a kingdom. It is a living tapestry of fire, clay, wind, and blood. And the story has only just begun. From ashes to legacy. The tragedy of the Umuru War tore the ancient lineage of Adike into sorrowful halves. Brother against brother, kin buried in blood-soaked soil. From that broken past, 5 great houses rose. And with them, the kingdom of Obosi began its true rebirth. But a kingdom cannot survive on land and laws alone. It needs soul, spirit, ritual, memory. And so, from the roots of grief blossomed one of the most cherished and enduring traditions of Obosi, the spirit of Ito-Ogbo. As Obosi healed and grew, the people remembered the price of life. They remembered how quickly death could come, how precious every sunrise truly was. To honor the gift of longevity, and to pass that reverence to future generations, Obosi created a sacred tradition unlike any other in all of Igbo land. the Ito-Ogbo festival. Every 3 years, Obosi stands still. The bells ring. The markets close. The drums begin their slow, thunderous beat. From every corner of the 5 villages, Umuoda, Era, Mmakwum, Uruowulu, and Ugamuma, the people gather in glorious procession. They come to celebrate the octogenarians, men and women between the ages of 80 and 82, those who have walked long on the earth, those who have seen Obosi in peace, in war, in rain, and in fire. These elders are called the living libraries of Obosi. Each celebration is not just a birthday, it is an ancestral coronation. The ceremony of honor. In the Obosi Palace Square, the Igwe of Obosi is dressed in the full regalia of crimson, ivory, and gold, takes his seat beneath the ancient canopy of kingship. One by one, the octogenarians step forward, dressed in royal wrappers, beaded necklaces, and smiles carved by time. The king presents each one with a certificate of merit, a symbol of honor, wisdom, and endurance. Then, the males are crowned with the red cap, the traditional hat of nobility, and bestowed the sacred title of Ogbueshi. The females receive a red scarf, draped with reverence by the Queen Mother herself, and are bestowed the title of Ogbueshi Nwanyi, the wise matriarch. Cries of Agioma, meaning well done, echo from the crowd. Children touch the feet of the honorees. Dancers twirl, masquerades spin, and the drums reach their climax. This is not just a party. This is a covenant between generations. Faith and the final rites. After the celebration, the octogenarians part ways in deep spiritual gratitude. Those of the Christian faith dress in white and file into church choirs, lifting songs of praise to God for long life, good health, and the strength to witness yet another season of planting and harvest. The traditionalists walk proudly to the sacred grounds near Iki Market, where they pour libations and offer kola nuts to the Iki deity, guardian of the land and market, patron of justice, and keeper of ancestral memory. No one is left behind. No faith is shamed. All are honored in the way they walk with the divine. Legacy beyond life. The red cap of an Ogbueshi, or the red scarf of an Ogbueshi Nwanyi, is more than decoration. It is a baton passed to the next generation. It says, "I lived through the storms. I fought in silence. I love this land, and now I give it to you." Through the Ito-Ogbo, the people of Obosi never forget. They do not forget Adike. They do not forget the war. And they do not forget that even in loss, there is celebration. The kingdom that honors its elders. Obosi is a land of 5 villages, but one heartbeat. A place where clay meets spirit, where red caps shine brighter than gold, and where the elderly are not forgotten, they are crowned. So, when next you walk through the streets of Obosi and see an old man in a red cap or a regal woman in a red scarf, bow your head, for you are standing before a living monument. And in Obosi, monuments still dance. In Obosi, age is not a burden, it is a badge of honor. The 5 villages do not just carry the names of ancestors, they carry their dreams. As the drums of Ito-Ogbo fade into memory, we are reminded, true strength is not measured by war or wealth, but by the wisdom we leave behind. This is a quote from an actual octogenarian. "I have seen war, peace, famine, and plenty. But what I cherish most is that my children and grandchildren call to greet me." Ogbueshi Ugamuma, Emeritus Professor Robinson Ifeanyi Chukwu Igwatu. Like this episode? Subscribe to stay connected to the soul of Obosi. Drop a comment below. Which of the 5 villages are your roots tied to?